Welcome back to the Allegheny Health Network Nightly Sports Call. I'm Josh Taylor, in tonight for Bob Pompiani, joined in studio by Gene Collier. We're taking your phone calls. 412-575-2600 is the number. We will start with the phone lines. Let's start with Rob in the Hill District, my former stomping ground, so I got to go with Rob first. Rob, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Hey, man, I don't understand why y'all Hockey Central and everybody and y'all talking about Nashville, they're going to be rocking, it's going to be crowded, all. Man, the fans can't play the game. Them players going to have adrenaline and give us 7 minutes of desperate hockey.
Rob, have you watched the Nashville game?
Listen, I watched Nashville.
All we're saying is that they have a really great atmosphere in Nashville. We're not saying it dictates the outcome of the game. We're not saying that. We're just saying that the crowd's really loud, and it's okay to say that.
The Capitals had a raucous crowd in Game 7.
They're not Nashville's. They're not Nashville's crowd.
The Penguins are by far the better team.
No one's denying that, Rob. No one's denying that. No one's denying that Penguins are the better team. We're just saying Nashville's crowd is loud. It's okay to say that.
They demoralized Nashville. They demoralized. Did you see their faces? It's over. I'm going to call y'all next week and tell y'all when it's swept, it's over.
For the record, I picked the Penguins to win this series. Let's not lose sight of that. Gene, last time I checked, if something was loud, you're allowed to say it's loud, right? Like if I just reached out to you and yelled at you, you would say, Josh, that was really loud, right? Or am I missing something?
Nope.
Okay, just checking.
Thanks for that call, though. That was illuminating.
Yeah, there was a lot to be shed on that. And by that, a lot, I mean nothing. Let's get something clear here, people. Granted, for full disclosure, he picked the Predators, so yell at him. But let's be clear on something. When I'm talking about the atmosphere in the building, that's literally all I'm talking about, is the atmosphere in the building. I'm not talking about anything else dictating the outcome. I'm just saying that there's going to be a lot of people there. They might throw some catfish. They might get a little crazy. But it'll make it interesting. If nothing else, it makes it fun. Let sports still be fun. That's fair, right? Absolutely. That's fair? Okay, next call. We'll go to Will in Monroeville. Will, let's have some fun. You're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Good evening to you, too.
Listen, that last call was crazy, but I do know it's going to be crazy.
Rob gets worked up for no reason. I don't know why.
But I want to talk to you guys about Jake Guentzel a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, this kid just came out of nowhere, and I don't hear a lot of people talking about him possibly as a candidate for the Conn Smythe. Do you think that's possible?
Oh, we've discussed it, and thank you for the call. Actually, Bob Pompiani last night in 11 o'clock sports, during 11 o'clock news last night, described Jake Guentzel as a candidate. He pretty much laid out 4 guys, and the way he laid it out, I thought was interesting. Jake Guentzel was one, Evgeny Malkin is one, Sidney Crosby is one, and then the 4th one was the interesting one. It was kind of a hybrid of Matt Murray / Marc-Andre Fleury, because somehow the goaltenders, you probably don't get to this series if not for Marc-Andre Fleury in the first 2 series and Matt Murray on the tail end of that 3rd series going into this one. But back to Jake Guentzel, and you have a great point. Here's my favorite stat about Jake Guentzel. As a rookie, he has already surpassed the record for points in the postseason by an American-born rookie. I believe he has 19. He has 12 goals, and he's led the playoffs with 12 goals. Jake Guentzel had 10 goals, I believe, after the Washington series was over. And he didn't score for the majority of I don't think he scored throughout the Ottawa series and maybe the last couple games of Washington. And then he scores goals 10, 11, and 12 in this series, 3 in 2 games. So Jake Guentzel is definitely a front runner. If you haven't heard anybody talking about it, maybe you're in the wrong room. But amongst us, we have been talking about Jake Guentzel as a candidate.
Yeah, that's my only disagreement with Will, because that's the only thing I've heard discussed. It's the opposite of not hearing a lot of. That's the only thing I'm hearing discussed.
Yeah,
the possibility of Jake Guentzel winning the Conn Smythe. Has the Conn Smythe ever been awarded to 2 people, Josh?
That's a good question. I don't
think
so. I have
to
look that up. I don't believe it has. Our producer John confirms that for me as well. Let's go back to the phone lines. Lou in Fox Chapel. Lou, you're on the Nightly Sports Call.
Yeah, hi guys.
How are you?
Just watching, it seems to me that the league really condones a lot of violence, and the referees allow it. They try to beat up Crosby and Malkin, and yet the Penguins, although they're outweighed a lot of times, they're tough. They fight them back. I think they have a lot of guts, and I haven't heard too many people say that about the Penguins. I'd like your opinion.
Appreciate the call, Lou. And Lou's got a great point. For as much as the Penguins have gotten knocked around in the 3 previous series, and including this one, They have not done a lot to retaliate. I think of Genny Malkin up against PK Subban was one of the few times we actually saw any real kind of retaliation. But Mike Sullivan's mantra is just play. And whatever happens, whatever goes down, whatever's called or not called, just play. And they've actually followed that pretty stringently, Gene. It's actually pretty surprising how well they have kept up with Mike Sullivan's mantra of just play. When so many things have gone wrong, they lose guys left and right. They've had defensemen knocked out of games and had to play with 5D. And they keep going, and he says just play, and it works for them.
Yeah, and what doesn't work for the opposition, Josh, and Columbus tried this, Washington tried it, Ottawa tried it to knock the Penguins around, and they do it. They're successful at it to some extent, but it doesn't seem to affect what the Penguins do. And even
specifically Sidney Crosby, they
right.
made it a point to really try to get under his skin, and it hasn't worked.
Absolutely, and even though the Penguins have just continued to, as you pointed out, just play at the instructions of Mike Sullivan, they haven't really backed down. They've kind of stuck to their game, but they've stood up for themselves when it's been necessary, I think. And as critical as everyone's been about the league and the condoning of the violence, and I agree with that too, in the Subban and Malkin skirmish, I thought the on-ice officials finally did a decent job there. They didn't let that go to a full-blown fight. There were punches thrown, and then they grabbed each other, but it could have been a lot worse except for the on-ice officials.
I was actually hoping for this series to be called a lot differently, because I believe I got a call, I can't remember who it was that called this show, and asked me about watching the Penguins-Ottawa series versus the Nashville-Anaheim series. And if you watched both, those series were called a lot differently. The Western Conference series was called a lot more cleanly. Things didn't get as out of hand as much as they did in Pittsburgh and Ottawa. And I thought that might carry over into this series, and maybe the line would be drawn. And I was very wrong about that. And I really wished that would have been the case, because I think we might even see a better series than what we've seen already. Let's go to Ken in Clearfield real quick before we take a break. Ken, you're on the Nightly Sports Call. You there, Ken?
Yeah, guys. Yeah, I'm here. The only thing I'm asking is the Penguins and the reason I'm calling is if Pittsburgh plays two good periods, the first period of the first game and the third period of the second game. If they put 3 periods together, this series is over Monday night. If they play 3 periods as a team, it's over. Thank you.
Appreciate the call. I mentioned this during our Facebook Live around 10 o'clock earlier in the evening. And I was talking about this, that the Penguins have won 2 games and they haven't put together a full 60 minutes yet. And I had to think back to the blowout win against Ottawa, Gene, where they put together a full 60 minutes. They haven't really done that yet.
7-0, right?
Imagine if they could actually do that. That would make a lot of sense. We'll tie this thought off here for a second. We got to take a break. We come back, we'll take more phone calls here on the Nightly Sports Call. Stick around.